Hello, everyone, and welcome to MediaMelt, the show where we talk about the media that is supposed to melt our minds, or in the very least, tries to. I'm, of course, your host, Dylan Strickland, and today, let's talk about Netflix's Witcher 2. Here with me is Tobey Maguire's stunt double, Tanner Pieper. How are you doing, Tanner?
Doing good.
One of those
How
days,
about
I'm doing good, too. Thank you for asking. One of these days, I'm going to get through the fucking, the name I make for you without laughing. I'm worried that someone's going to watch the show and then be like, oh, he actually is Tobey Maguire.
No, you won't that. Nobody will ever do that ever, so don't worry about that. It might though.
Just going to give you guys a breakdown of how the show is going to go today. We are going to talk about The Witcher Season 1 briefly before we talk about an in-depth review of The Witcher Season 2. As we go through it, we'll talk about spoilers, and we will address the spoilers as we go through it. So there's your fair spoiler warning. Also want to remind you guys, we are now on your podcasting app of choice. So if you would like to listen to us on Spotify, Apple, or iTunes, you definitely can. Be sure to leave us a like there, as well as on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe if you're on YouTube as well. But Tanner, what are your thoughts on The Witcher Season 1?
I mean, I liked it. Yeah. I hate when you ask that fucking question, dude.
What?
I thought it was fun. Like I said to you before the show started, I feel like Henry Cavill was like just having like a ball playing this role. And it must be like the easiest thing in the world because he just has to be like an emotions brick.
I don't know if you've played the video games at all, but like I haven't played the video games, but his voice is like, if you do like a side-by-side comparison, like Henry Cavill's voice it sounds almost exactly like the dude.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I played like The Witcher 3 for like 30 minutes, but
yeah. So like the draw, like the how can you do this? You know?
oh, like the grunting, bro.
Yeah, like the way he it's like all through Grizzle or whatever.
Yeah,
like he has it like down to a T. And I haven't played him, but I've watched like comparison videos because like the where he's like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like that is like the Geralt special tagline essentially.
Yeah.
And so he they play that like next to the one from the video games.
Or like I kind of play the games.
Yeah, well, I do too. Like the show makes you want to play the games.
Yeah, it's actually really good. I feel like it's one of the like only good video game adaptations I've ever seen.
This and what was that one that's actually not so bad? There's another one, not Assassin's Creed, because that movie's fucking terrible.
Lego Batman.
Lego Batman. The Batman games, I guess, but they're not really like that's more comic adaptation. I don't know. I don't know. There's not very essentially the Hitman movies are kind of trash, and there's not very many. I'm hoping with Last of Us and Uncharted coming out, like that they'll just get progressively better.
Yeah, hopefully.
But right now it's like we pretty much only have Witcher, and it's pretty good.
No, I really liked all the like horror moments in the first season. I feel like they had a lot less of that in season 2. But like there were cool, like a lot more like scary moments in season 1, and that was really cool. And just yeah.
I agree. I think well, first of all, I think the score for both seasons, but more so in season 1, I think the score is like really fucking good.
You're right.
Like the sound, like you know how kind of like in Lord of the Rings, the fucking like soundtrack kind of makes the show or the movie. It doesn't make it. Like clearly there's other things that clearly make it. But I'm saying like that's like you think of the Shire, you immediately think of that like sound of the Shire.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that in this, but I would say it like the score captures the atmosphere that the show is going for really well. Like every time I'm listening to the music from Witcher, minus of course the song in season 1 that everybody sings, like I just feel like I'm at like the Ren Fair or something. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It definitely fits exactly the atmosphere they're trying to set.
Mm-hmm. And
dude, yeah. What?
Go ahead.
No, I was trying to remember something that I was just gonna say and then I forgot it.
Okay. I will say in season 1, I feel like any storyline that isn't directly related to Geralt is kind of lackluster for me. At least I was
So
like.
are we calling him Geralt? What's going on?
So it's like they say both in the show. Like I made note. I was like, okay, well, what are they saying in the show? In the show, they go Geralt, and they also go Geralt. So it's like whatever, however you want to say it, I guess, because nobody in the show.
I just say like, what is it, like Geralt?
Yeah,
that's
Geralt.
What I hear.
Well, Geralt is so Texas though. That's
I guess.
Geralt.
That's how they say it, bro.
Geralt. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't.
Just Geralt. Geralt.
Anyway, what I'm saying is the show is basically The Witcher and Yennefer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Yennefer's as much of a main character as he is.
Which I really like, yeah. I really liked. I actually loved her like storyline. I feel like she has a very similar storyline to like, not really, but Game of Thrones. What's her name? The main girl. That
Arya?
No, the dragon girl. Why?
Oh, Daenerys.
Daenerys. I feel like their storylines were pretty similar, not in a way, but like.
Oh, you think she's
like just like women like rising to power through like that kind of thing, and I felt like I was so much more interested in this than Game of Thrones. That storyline for some reason, like I felt like there were similar moments, like where we just cut back to her, and I felt like I was still excited to see all of Yennefer's shit in season 1. It was honestly like sometimes more exciting than Geralt's shit.
Really? See, I don't agree.
Really?
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why, but for me, any story that wasn't Geralt's, I just didn't think it was like as good quality. And maybe that's because like Geralt's like the kick-ass grizzled like when you're with Geralt, you know you're gonna get like a fucking monster fight scene.
Yeah, something cool and fun, like The Witcher. Yeah.
And I'm I love the monster kick-ass fight scenes, but I just feel like I don't know, the character of Yennefer wasn't as interesting to me. And in season 1, in season 2, I think it's actually better. But I don't know why. In season 1, I was like, this isn't really, until the last episode with like the fire where she like blows the chaos fire out of her hands. I was like, that's fucking crazy, and cool. And then like what they do with it in season 2, I was like, okay, I'm kind of fucking with this. And, but I also think it helps that Geralt has Hoskier for most of the season.
Yes.
So like his little like the funny, I don't know. I love his sidekick. The dude kills it.
You're talking about the first season, right?
Yeah, in the first season, like toss a coin to a Witcher, and their whole he's like a dick, and his like best friend is like the giddy let's go type of guy.
Yeah, dude, I love all of the character interactions in the show are like perfect. Like everyone is such a caricature of like who they are. Like even the serious characters are still like really radically like so like Geralt is like so obnoxious. Like he's not like a serious dude. Like he's not a serious person. Like he's it reminds me almost like of like a Marvel character. Like you're supposed to take him seriously, but he's also like the punchline of every joke because he's just a fucking oaf.
I know, but it's like it feels like he's so funny without trying. Like everybody else, like you have Hoskier, who's like the dude who's like, oh, I make the jokes. You know what I'm saying? Like you laugh at me. I'm here for comedic support. But I feel like Geralt is funny just because he's a dick. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
Well, he's not really even a dick. He's just like so coarse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, oh fuck, I don't want to fucking do this, or like, he says something about somebody's name or whatever. I don't know.
He's just like brutal. Like everything he says is like brutally honest and just like.
Yeah, he wears it all on his chest.
Yeah. The only thing I hate about the first season is like the time skipping and jumping.
That's literally my note. That's like
literally I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Until like the very end. So
I got it at the end. I was like, oh, okay. So the entire Geralt storyline has basically been in the past up until this point, because it was like there's nothing that shows up and is like, 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They just expect you to catch on.
And there's no aging, obviously, in the characters. So it's like,
I mean, it's a good way to show that they're immortal, but if your characters don't age, it's so fucking confusing.
Yes.
Because like you'll flash back, and then in the first episode, Ciri's grandmother dies, and then you flash back to a scene with Geralt where she's just like at a party, and you're like,
yeah,
what the fuck?
And I was trying to figure out when Geralt went to this fucking party, and I was like, why is Jaskier not with him? And like, where is Jaskier? And I'm like, he hasn't even fucking met him yet. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't figure out if we were jumping back or if it was like flashbacks and they weren't like in linear, like if they were just flashbacks and like none of them were, you know what I'm trying to say, like if the in the past storyline was chronological or if they were just jumping back to different like important scenes. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
this
really
had to be like intentional. Do you think it was intentional the way they confusingly set this up? Like, you think they wanted you to like question what was happening?
I don't think they meant for it to be. I think they meant for us to catch on sooner. I don't know. Like, I think they meant for it to be confusing at first, but I don't think I was supposed to be confused up until like
first long.
I was confused till episode 6. Like, I was like, I have no idea what the fuck was going on. And then once
it makes me feel like I skipped like an episode. Like, I always have to check like if I'm like on the right shit. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's like my only thing. But you don't. I feel like I didn't get it until they were like, "Oh, lock him up," and then they were like, "Geralt was in the dungeon during the like raid of whatever place it is that Nilfgaard raid."
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I don't quite understand where we're going here, but that's like my only downside besides like I because it kind of confuses me, and like I don't know if we were supposed to be confused. I don't know if that was on purpose. But I also think, like, when it syncs up and you as an audience are like, oh, yeah, like, we're here, like, that's really nice. So I can't tell if it's on purpose or not, but I didn't like it either way. I was like, I don't know. It's just weird. Like, why didn't you just tell us, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt like, and sometimes in movies and TV, it's like things are confusing because they're meant to be confusing. This didn't feel like it was meant to be confusing. It just felt confusing. Yeah. But yeah, the Yennefer story. Do you think the romance works between her and Witcher in season 1? They basically fight and then he saves her life and there's no way of knowing if the curse is like making them love each other or if they just do.
I actually like it. I can't actually remember a lot of like, I feel like them meeting and like them getting together was so quick.
Mm-hmm. That's
like,
true.
I don't, but was it? I can't remember if it was, like, I know, like, they were, like, constantly, like, it was very obvious that they were going to do something.
Yeah, he dispelled, like, a witch. Like, remember it was with the yin, the genie in a bottle, basically? And he, like, dispelled that off of her. And then they fought for a little bit, and then they ended up, like, having sex.
Yeah.
And then there was the hot tub scene, and...
Yeah, no, I thought it was good, from what I remember. Like, I didn't feel like it was... they had like funny character chemistry. Like,
I agree with you. I like their romance. And I think it's there's a specific scene that I want to talk about in season 2 when we get to it, but it doesn't happen until towards the end. And it was like one of my favorite scenes in the entirety of the show. But I think I wrote here the Yennefer story gets better as it goes because when it starts intertwining with Geralt, I think it gets really interesting.
Yeah, it does get better, I think.
And especially like, you know, Jaskier's whole like he thinks she's kind of an evil witch. Like him hating her and Geralt like being like obsessed with her makes it so funny to me. I don't know. But when he tells Jaskier, I wrote here, cinematography is brilliant because I think the show is just really pretty overall. Netflix does that, man. Their fucking budget for like some of these shots are incredible.
Yeah.
Like it's like Game of Thrones level where you're like, holy shit. At least I felt. But when he tells Jaskier to fuck off, how did you feel about this scene in season 1?
Can you show it to me or send it to me?
It's when they separate. So it's like it's like Jaskier, you know.
I get that's when they're in the woods,
like
right?
Geralt's like everything that has happened to me has been your fault. He released the genie, and then and then he tells Jaskier to fuck off. He's like, leave me alone, go fuck yourself. And then that's when Jaskier leaves him, and that's why he's where he is in season 2.
Yeah.
You know
I mean, yeah, I remember that. I actually, because like that's one of the things I remember the least about, but I still remember them being in the woods. And I remember that whole Jin thing, and I remember them fighting, and then what's it, Jaskier like leaving? I hate that because I love them together. That's like the classic like 21 Jump Street like buddy cop like this like their mid movie fight.
Yeah.
Like, where they separate, but they're gonna come back together, but it happens in the next season, so it's like it's even more of like a
Like
painful
you're just
wait.
waiting forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a nice way of like getting us to miss a character without killing them off or something. Like they actually like, yeah.
I agree, and it does make him showing up in season 2 even better.
Yeah.
I will say, the dude who plays Kahir, which is the Nilfgaardian guy who chases Ciri all the time. The one who's like, he has a beard in season 2, and then he shaves.
Oh, you're talking about the knight.
Kahir, yeah, his name's Kahir.
Okay.
I fucking hate this dude in a good way.
Yeah, definitely.
He just has such a punchable face. It's just the way he's written. Like, he's such a good, I don't want to say villain, but God, he's so fucking annoying, dude. Like, I just want him to die so bad. I want it to be a terrible death. I want him to die a terrible death.
Yeah. If we like talk about him in like the season 2 portion, I'll have some things to say. Yeah.
Okay, cool. But overall, yeah, I think season 1's pretty darn good. I think it's better than season 1, but not by much. Like, I think they're pretty much the same quality, which is really good. So if you have anything else, do you have anything else you'd like to add about season 1, or can we just go ahead and dive head into season 2?
Just that I thought the pacing was really good, and I thought they got a lot of shit done, and they were also like super careful not to be too ambitious in the first season with only like so many episodes. I feel like they came with like a plan, and it was very obvious. Mm-hmm. Like I like that they planned it out. They didn't just fucking go in with like, oh, this is the Witcher video. Like, you can tell that they cared about it. Mm-hmm. And like the very first thing you see is Geralt killing a monster, like, and it's badass. And it's like you know exactly what you're gonna get.
Mm-hmm. You're right. That's like the first scene of the thing is him killing that black monster. Oh, and that brings me one more thing about season 1. The action in season 1 is so fucking good.
Yeah, it is.
Like the scene at the end of the first episode where he just goes into that town with like the sword, like,
oh shit,
he's such a fucking badass, bro. Like, it's just like things like that. When they do shit like that in movies, it's just like shit that you're like, oh fuck, I'm gonna like this show. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you're immediately.
That's for like that. That leads me to another thing. That's for like the male audience, and I feel like the show is like I feel like guys and girls like would love this show, like for different reasons.
Because
I feel like there's enough for both things.
Yeah, it's not like the girls' worlds revolve around the dudes. Like, Yennefer is worried about her own shit. She's not worried, like, and she tells Geralt to fuck off, and like does like she has her own story. And even though like there's the like, women are like naked clearly a lot in the show, it doesn't ever feel really unnecessary. Like they explain, or at least in the games and books, they explain like to do a lot of witch like heavy spells you have to be like in nude. So it's like, it's not really, you know what I'm saying? It's like in lore. It doesn't feel like it's just obligatory, like, oh, we're here, right? And a lot of the sex scenes in the show, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that on YouTube. I'll bleep it out. But a lot of stuff like that in the show, they like cover it up. Like they're very I don't want to say considerate, but they're very progressive with the way that nudity works in the show. And I feel like that's really refreshing.
And I think for every like every girl nude scene you see, I feel like you get the next scene is like Geralt being like super shredded,
with no shirt and like his ass is out or whatever. Yeah. But let's move into season 2.
Let's go.
I'm gonna like with a couple of others. Taking notes on an entirety of a season is kind of difficult, so I'm just gonna kind of go through it. If there's something that I missed that you want to talk about, just point it out and we'll pick on it. Yeah. But I'm just going to go through the episodes that I know of. So season 2 begins essentially right where season 1 left off with Ciri and Geralt. They met in the woods last season. This time they're going through the battlefield trying to look for Yennefer. How did you feel about this scene where they're looking for Yennefer? Because I kind of go. Just tell us what you thought.
Is that you're talking about the very first episode, right?
Yeah.
What? I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember that at all. Is it like they're on the battlefield looking for her?
Yeah, it's like a 5-minute scene. The head witch girl, what's her name here? I've got the names pulled up since they're so fucking confusing. Tisea Di Feliz.
Yeah, I know who that is.
She's like crying because she's trying to find Yennefer, and she's like in the dude's memories, like trying to find them. And Geralt's yelling Yennefer, which is the scene we saw from last season, like where they flash forward and.
Is that when? What's her name? Tessa. Is that when she's like touching that dude's head?
She touches the dead people's head, trying to find their memories and see.
Yeah, I remember that very faintly. Not enough to be like.
Yeah.
I don't remember that scene enough to be.
Yeah.
Talking about it.
Well, I just thought I was so confused as to how. I don't know what happens in the books and what happened and what doesn't. So it's like, it's up in the air. This might have just happened in the book. I was so confused as to how they lost Yennefer, like so quickly. Like she was on the top of the hill.
He just disappeared.
I thought she was on the top of the hill with the head witch lady. And so in the next season when it starts and she's like, where's Yennefer? I was like, weren't you right fucking next to her? How did she do? I don't know. Maybe she portaled out or something, but I was like.
Yeah, something happened maybe.
Yeah. And so and then she, later we find out she wakes up in the forest with, let me see what her name is.
The elves?
No, she wakes up with the one elf lady who's a witch, and then also, where is she? She wakes up with Francesca Findever.
God, dude, I should have rewatched that first episode. What the heck?
And what's her name? The lady who's like the antagonist, the witch who works for Nilfgaard.
Witch who works for Nilfgaard.
Yes, she trained. She was originally going to go where Yennefer went, but Yennefer kind of stepped in, so she went to Nilfgaard instead. I can't believe this is happening. Yeah,
the one who's like the queen next.
Yeah.
She's a witch?
She's the one who slices the dude's necks later on in the season. But
that's also we'll talk about that. Yeah, but
Fringilla. Yeah, she ends up. So Yennefer ends up in the forest with Fringilla, and the other girl that I just mentioned. God, these names are so fucking confusing. Francesca Vindebar. She ends up in the forest with Fringilla and Francesca. And then they have the scene with the witch where she's like kind of explaining her power thing. She's like, oh, ask me one wish and I'll grant it to you or whatever. How did you feel about this? The witch in the beginning.
The first intro. I thought it was. Did the witch got introduced as soon as Geralt was showing.
Geralt's on his way or already at Witcher hideout with Vesemir.
Okay,
and Yennefer is the other storyline that happens. It's
Yeah. I just remember that Geralt was taking Ciri through like the Witcher corridors, and he was showing.
Oh shit! Wait, we're coming ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
Geralt was with the dude with the weird beast face.
Okay, the demon witch showed up first there.
They both show up in the first episode, I believe, but I might be slightly wrong. Like I said, I mean, it's hard to remember.
Yeah.
But I remember Yennefer shows up, I think, like 40 minutes into the episode or at the beginning of episode 2. But I think it's in episode 1. She shows up with, trapped with the other girls, and then they have the confrontation in the woods with the witch. But we can jump back. We can get to that in a second. How did you feel about Geralt and the werewolf dude and that whole altercation with, like, the flying thing?
I love that, dude. I love that it had, like, no real, like, connection to the storyline, and it was just really, really fun. And, like, the makeup and, like, the costumes on that dude was awesome. And, like, it was also kind of scary when, like, the girl was creeping. I thought, like, that's literally what I would.
When she's like watching them, that shit's like really uncomfortable. Yeah, I didn't like that shit. And I like the knife game where like Geralt.
Yes, bro.
Like he's just trying to throw the knife so hard, but he's telling like all the truths.
Yeah.
And I thought the friend actually he was likable.
He really was.
Yeah, but you know why he's likable?
Why?
Give me a second. I'm gonna find out who he is. I know who he is, but I'm like I want to get his name right. He's the guy who played that one character in Game of Thrones. Do you remember the dude who was really obsessed with Brienne of Tarth? The dude with the red beard, the wildling.
Yeah, like the main yeah.
Yeah, he was like, oh, where's the big lady?
Yeah.
That's literally him.
You're joking.
Yeah, and you couldn't tell at the end because he's shaved. His face is shaved. He doesn't have the beard. But it's
that actually makes so much sense, bro.
Yeah. That's why he's so likable. His name is where's that? Christopher Hivju, I think. And he's just so good, bro. I want to see this dude in more shit.
I know, dude. No, dude, he was like perfect for that. That's actually probably one of my favorite episodes of the whole show because it's like such a, I don't know, it feels like a side quest.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. This show does so well at like I feel like a lot of season 1, Geralt's storyline is just like him doing side quests. Yeah. And it works like very similarly to the game.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, well, I will say season 1 felt more like side quests, like constantly.
Yeah.
But season 2 kind of feels like you play that side quest in the first episode, and then the rest of the show is just main storyline for season 2. But I really liked this first episode. It was a little, I thought at first it was going to be a little goofier than a lot of the stuff in season 1. Just because I was like, does the mask thing work? But once they got down to like Geralt having like this history with this dude, and then like, you know, he cures him at the end by killing the girl that he loved, who's like killing the entire town or whatever. And she was wicked, man. Like when she takes Ciri, it's like gonna kill her.
Yeah, that shit was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, I really liked this episode. I thought it was fun. Or at least I liked that part of the episode. And then, like I said, I think this happens in this episode with Yennefer where she wakes up in the forest. Maybe the witch happens in episode 2. But I wasn't really ever convinced that Yennefer was dead. Were you?
No, not for a second, dude.
Yeah, I was like, we're in episode 1. There's no way they just killed one of the main characters so easily. So she wakes up with Fringilla and Francesca. And then there's the witch thing where the witch is like, I'll give you one of the wishes, and Francesca asks to be, she asked to get a child, right? First natural born. I can't remember what Fringilla asked for.
Francesca or Fringilla?
No, Francesca's the elven lady, so she asked for the kid.
Yeah. Because she wants like a pure.
Yeah, a pure elven son or daughter or whatever. And then Fringilla, do you remember what she asked for? Because it's not really touched upon. Maybe her freedom?
Does she not want to be like a leader? I thought she wanted to be. I thought that was.
Oh, you know what? You're probably right. It probably is the leader position because she does shoot up the ranks like very quickly. I'm gonna be honest. I found this very confusing.
Okay, I felt like I was the only one. Sometimes I feel like I'm just watching it and I feel like I missed something, but I'm too like scared to like ask Molly. I'm like, bro, like she was like trapped. And then all of a sudden, like the next episode, she's like queen, and like they didn't explain that at all.
Yeah, they were in chains with the army.
Yeah,
and then they got the witch thing, which was really confusing for me because I was like, okay, what is going on here? And then I love
that this podcast is just us trying to figure out what the show meant. I'm not even talking to figure out what it actually.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm crazy. Like a lot of times in movies and TVs, to make sure the audience like gets it, they'll tell you like a couple times.
Yeah.
I felt like they told me one time, and I just couldn't quite comprehend it. Like it was.
You just think I'm way smarter than bro. Yeah. Like I think it was because like okay, so
it's very lore heavy.
Yeah, they visit the witch. All that shit happens. They wish for what they wish for.
Except for Yennefer, she doesn't wish for anything.
Yes, and then the Nilfgaardian army joins up with the Elven army. But this is a new Nilfgaard, right? Because the Nilfgaard used to be the bad guy, right?
They're still the bad guy.
Oh.
It's just like it's like.
But they're teamed up with the elves now.
But they're teamed up with the elves. Yeah, they're not they're not good guys per se because that dickhead is still working with them. But they're also not like we're just seeing a different side of them. I think. They're kind of the same people. We're just getting more information on them. but yeah, I was just very confused. I was like, I didn't quite understand. I don't know. Like every time we flash back to the witch stuff in the forest, I was like, okay. Like I was like, I was like, I
I
really
felt
don't
I'm like,
understand.
oh yeah, I remember that from last episode.
It's like I remember seeing it, but I don't remember comprehending it. Um. But anyway, after this point is when Ciri and Geralt get to the Witcher's Haven, or I think that's what it's called, with Vesemir. And then Ciri begins her training shortly after.
Yep.
How did you feel about this? The Ciri beginning her training, and the introduction of Vesemir and all the Witchers there.
I liked that we got to like when he walked in. I didn't know what was like going on, and I was like, oh shit, they're all Witchers, and I thought that was cool. And then we end up spending most of the season there.
Mm-hmm.
That I didn't expect that. And I felt like they were just going to be there for a little bit and then chill out. But it was cool because we got to see like I feel like we're getting to see a lot about like Geralt's past more, like past, like how he became a Witcher and what like a Witcher is, and like if it's even like a thing. And you get to know like specifically more just about the Witchers themselves and like what they can do. And then you find out that they're like only them left or whatever. And it's like,
yeah, and there's like they can't make him. Well, I think I love that they give each of the Witchers like they're not all just Geralt. Like they all have different personalities, and like they're all actually people.
yeah.
And like in some instances, we'll talk about it more later, but when they die, you're like, oh, like I remember, like I knew that one. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say I'm like, oh, I know their names, but I'm saying like you were like, oh, that was the one that did that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I do like their hesitance towards Ciri. Like they're like, no, we're not gonna fucking train you. It's because she's a girl, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's just because she's a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, Witchers are usually like from like birth, right, or something.
Yeah, yeah.
They're, like
They
really
pick them young.
So that too, and she's a princess.
Mm-hmm.
They know she's a princess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just like. I like the expansion of like the history of Geralt. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
It fills in the details, and then like they do it through Ciri. Like they show you what she's doing, and you know, like, okay, so this is something that Geralt did in his history. And I think Ciri and Geralt's relationship from the moment they hugged at the end of season 1 has been like pretty good.
Yeah. I thought it was gonna be awkward, but I think they've been getting better.
Yeah, it's like the father-daughter thing. I thought at first I was like, oh, like
she's a little too old and he's a little too young for like that dynamic, but I think it works just with the way their characters were.
Yeah, because she's young, but he looks like he's only like 30 or whatever. But he's also been alive for like like
you're right when I think about that.
Yeah. So he's like actually hundreds and hundreds of years old, and I think he plays that very well. Yeah. So you like feel the actual father-daughter thing.
That's true.
I think it works. So they're walking with the armies, right? And they get captured by elves because remember
that's what I forgot that the army
goes off. The trap goes off and kills all those people. Okay, I remember this. And then that's where we meet the king of the elves.
Yes. Okay.
Who is the one working with Francesca. Okay, and then that's when they have the dreams and the witch things happen. And the Deathless Mother is introduced. And Yin is kind of struggling with the loss of her magic. How did you feel about this loss of her magic storyline?
I thought it was the next best thing to do with her character. It reminded me of like I keep talking about Game of Thrones, but it's it's the other biggest fantasy show in the world, so it has a lot of the same like tropes or whatever. But like when what's his name, Jaime Lannister, like when he lost his hand. Mm-hmm. I think it's cool because it's like as soon as you take off, like that was her entire character arc last season. So as soon as you wipe that away, she's like literally open for anything.
Yeah, like she was based in magic, essentially.
I wish her whole character arc in the second season wasn't about getting that same magic back, which is super fucking lame. But still, I like the fact that I felt like we got to learn more about her character by seeing her limited.
That's my thing. I'm like, I like this storyline for her. Like, I like her having to go and get her magic back, but I feel like if you're gonna make it last 8 episodes, the way she gets it back has to be a little bit cooler. But we'll get to like, I'm okay with it being this long. It might have been better if it was 4, and I do think it's a better story than what she had in season 1, at least for me. But I feel like it lasts so long, and we spend so much time with her where she's just like, I don't have my magic. Like, everybody asks her. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's they bring it up every time she's on screen. It's like, bro, we
fucking know she doesn't have her magic. But then okay, so then the dude, the Geralt and them are having a party, and the dude tries to go for Ciri, and Geralt's like, fuck off, don't go for Ciri. And then he ends up turning into a fucking tree and like trying to fight them. This is where we figure out like the start of the monster thing. How did you feel about this tree fight thing?
Dude, I love that. That was sick. And I actually felt like bad for that character. Like,
yeah, he gets a rough end of the stick there, no pun intended.
Yeah, he kind of got fucked up. I mean, it was sad when they had to kill him and they had to bury him and everything. Like, you could tell they didn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. But also, I think it was a cool way to introduce but also I feel like sometimes they don't like that whole like thing was meant to introduce us to like a new kind of monster or like like new and evolving things or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they did poor. Like, I feel like I wasn't like. I feel like they should. Cool.
Yeah, like
yeah.
I think
this is a new thing. Yeah.
I don't feel like we know enough about like the monsters in the world, or at least I was like,
yeah, is
it a new monster? Because I was like, oh, what monsters are in this world? You know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah, exactly. Bro, we need like a breakdown.
Yeah, like there's like, I wish they would have had like, I don't know, it probably would have been stupid where they have like the names and then they point at pictures and like, these are our monsters, and then this monster, or something like that. I don't know. But after that, that's when Geralt and Ciri kind of have that scene where he's like, okay, you know, I will train you or whatever. And then we get into her in the next episode kind of not listening to him anymore. And she goes off and does her, like, trying to climb through the obstacle course thing.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about that?
I wish they wouldn't have made it so. I feel like I like Ciri, and I think the girl playing her is a good actress, but some of the most awkward scenes is when she's alone by herself. Like, I feel like when she's with Geralt, like, Henry Cavill can like carry that scene, but as soon as I see her by herself, it's never as much, like, it feels like she's being like directed in a different way than everybody else.
Oh,
like, I don't know. Yeah, like, I don't know, like her little like moments of triumph seem so like weird, and like, and even like when we were first watching it, when she first like goes over to like find the training thing, the camera does like the weirdest shot in the entire show. I need you to go back and watch this, Dylan, or something, like a timestamp or something, because the camera does like a weird like 90210 like quick pan out or pan in. I think it's a pan in. It's just like, it looks freaking weird, and like that whole vibe was off. That whole like, it felt like a Imagine Dragons like music video of her like going through the steps.
Because first of all, it like kept getting knocked around. Like, they just kept showing us her getting our ass kicked by this fucking. I felt like the obstacle course wasn't that hard either. I don't know if it was just
for every Witcher. Like, oh, like she almost got it done in a few days. Like how is this, like, is this like one thing they use for like one period of time for like 2 weeks and then they master it and go on? Like, how can they actively get better by using it? No one can. And then it's like, I feel like also like we just kept seeing the same scene over and over again. Like, they didn't like put it in any new fucking dialogue. Like, she would just fall down and they'd be like, oh,
fucking princess.
Yeah. And then she gets up and does it more and more. And it's like, they didn't like, and her dialogue is so weird and sparse. Like, she doesn't really, in my opinion, she has no, I feel like she's the worst character to watch because she has no character besides this, like, besides this whole, what, oh my God, not to say it again, but like watching her character arc is the same thing as watching Arya in Game of Thrones.
You like, it's like Arya's arc in Game of Thrones?
No, she's like the most boring person to watch because she has no like legitimate character.
I completely disagree with you.
That's another
Arya. Fuck that. I'll just cut it out. Arya in Game of Thrones has like one of the best arcs. She goes and does the fucking like mask thing.
Yeah, but she learns nothing except that being cool and badass and killing people. And she has the most thick plot armor of any fucking character in the show, bro.
She learns how to fight and hide in the crowd.
Give me a fucking break. But she doesn't she doesn't do anything. She just comes back and kills like a bunch of people, and she doesn't. Yeah, she fell through the fucking shadows, bro. Get the fuck out of here, bro. They handed it to her on a silver platter. She didn't do anything.
Okay, I disagree entirely, but all right. I will agree that Siri. I think her and Geralt's relationship really works, but
she has no other motivation than killing.
Okay, I think I like Siri as a character, and I like her and Geralt's relationship, but I will agree that I do feel like I watched the same scene over and over again when she was on the obstacle course, because like she falls down. Like if they do it once or twice, because it's like, oh, she keeps doing this, but I felt like they should have just kept cutting and showing her falling rather than like her falling and the dude's like egging her on again, because that happens over and over again. Like
for what?
It's bothering me that she's getting better, and like she continually gets better, and they're still like when she's like on the third part of it, they're still like, you can't fucking do this, you're a princess. They're like, bro, she's fucking doing it. Like, what do you mean?
And also, they never like fully specify like how the characters feel about her. It's like, are they becoming better friends with her, or are they not? They always have like the same like teasing like relationship. There's never like a moment where they're like, like she might actually have something.
Yeah.
Like they just all make fun of her and then like watch her do amazing shit and then like whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like the moment though where I don't think it's in episode 3, but where Geralt comes in and she like almost gets to the end of the course and just kind of like barely misses the jump, and he's like, you almost made it.
Yeah.
I thought that was almost really funny.
That's my That's a good end to that scene.
Yeah, to that whole thing, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we get to after all that, Yennefer goes back to the magic where she learned her magic, essentially. The not the Brotherhood. She goes back to Tissaia and is in the, I can't remember what it's called. Do you remember what the magic witch's place is called? I don't. Anyway,
I know what you're talking about. The part on the coast, like
where she learned her magic when Tissaia taught her everything she knows, and she has to kill Cahir, to basically prove that she's not working with Nilfgaard because she was captured by them. And she decides not to do that, and she spares him, and then they run off together. How did you feel about her fate, having to decide all that, and that scene where the dude like tries to get in our heads and stuff? How did you feel about all of this?
Yeah, I feel she's going through it. Yeah, like she like feels like she has no idea what to do, and like she's looking for like the next thing. Like I don't know, like
I will admit though, I did feel that it was a little weird that she didn't just kill that guy.
Yeah, I don't know what reason she had to keep him alive. I don't know why she needed him to escape.
Yeah, I felt like she was just like, okay, I don't want to kill him, so like
I'll just take him with me.
Yeah, or oh, you know what it might have been actually? She was supposed to kill him. Actually, this is exactly what it was. She was supposed to kill. I know why she didn't do it. She was supposed to kill him with her magic.
Oh.
Yeah. So she was like, I don't want to. She didn't want to tell everybody that she doesn't have it anymore.
Wait, when are you talking about? You're not talking about the execution scene. You're talking about.
Yeah, when she had to kill.
No, they handed her an axe, bro.
I think you're right, actually. So why did she just murder him?
There's literally a whole. Yeah.
Why did she just kill him?
I don't know. Maybe there's something we missed, bro. She needed him.
Maybe there was something we missed. I just felt like I was like, okay, well, she's not necessarily friends with the Nilfgaardians. I don't like. It's not like she's like begging them to be a part of her crew. And this dude's kind of been a dick the entire time that she's known him. So I was like, why would she save him? But I mean, it does lead to us finding Jaskier again. So.
Who cares?
Who cares? So they go off. There's that scene, and Geralt is like upset about him killing Eskel, the tree dude, because all the Witchers are like, whatever. Then we get into episode 4. And what just happened?
I got a notification.
Don't let it happen again.
Sorry.
we get to the tavern with Jaskier, right? And he's singing the song about how like the Witcher fucked them over or whatever.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I love that he has like his one song like each season. First of all, apparently what they're setting up.
Yeah.
And I think it's so funny how good his voice is. Like he's so incredibly talented, and he's so funny. And I thought it was a good way to bring him back. And he has a new outfit, new hair.
Yeah, I hate his hair though. I'm gonna be honest.
That's Molly hated it too.
It's terrible.
I hate it, but I think it's so in character for him to be like changing with fashion. Like I don't know, it's so funny.
I do think it's so fucking funny though that he is like. I think it's funny that he wrote this song and now everybody there is like super obsessed with him. But
like he was hyping up the crowd, man. They were like,
he wrote
I would be feeling it too if I was in there, dude.
He wrote a breakup song about him and The Witcher, and everyone there is like fucking loving it and being like, "You're the shit, dude." Then after this, which I think we both agree that was a great introduction.
Dude, yes, he's like my probably definitely
my favorite character. I think Geralt is my favorite.
Yeah,
which is a good thing considering the show's about him. But I think Jaskier is like second best, if not the also.
Yeah.
Then Triss arrives and starts working with Ciri, trying to figure out her magic stuff. You know what I thought was kind of dumb? Because Geralt thinks Yen is dead. Or Yennefer is dead. I thought it was dumb that Triss like they never had that conversation. Because Triss knew.
She just never mentioned it?
She just never mentions, like, how does she not mention the fact that Yennefer, like, went rogue? She might not have been there.
At the same time.
She might have left before.
Yeah, before that happened.
But even then.
But why
why? Like, I just felt like naturally that conversation would happen. And they were just, like, avoiding it because they wanted the reveal towards the end of the season.
And Tess, did she, what's her name?
Tess.
Yeah, Tess. She knew that Geralt knew Yennefer, right? Like that was like an obvious thing. Like,
oh, she might not have known that he knew her because with the way the time jumps were working. But I just felt like the conversation should have happened and it didn't. And I was like, okay, but I wasn't too upset. I was like, okay, well, I mean, it's whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then we flash back to refugees. Oh yeah. Then we flash back to Yennefer and Cahir, and they're like in the sewers with those two elven dudes, kind of getting to know them a little better.
Yeah.
And I hated this, bro, in a good way. Like when the deaf elf is talking to them, and then he's like, what I'm going to do with my future, I'm going to go and be like, a hero or whatever. And then he gets taken under and killed
immediately, yeah.
Obscure water monster #1. And then there's no explanation as to why.
That was so stupid. I don't know why they even set that up for them to die so fast.
I was so upset. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Because he was so much cooler than the other fucking dude.
Yeah.
And then, like, I thought it was dumb because Yennefer somehow gets out of it. Like, it kills the elf dude, but Yennefer, like, saves, and I was like, okay, why would it not eat her, too?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I was just like, whatever. So, I mean, then we move on to episode 5, and this is where Geralt leaves, I believe, to go and check out the monolith stuff. He's like, I'm going to go and look into these monoliths that are apparently like doorways into other realms. And then while he's gone, Ciri wants to become a witcher. So Vesemir's like, yeah, okay, because they find out she has elder blood. Or is it elvish blood or is it elder blood? I think it's elder
blood.
Yeah. So they find out she has elder blood and they can make more witchers. But she's like, if we're going to do this, I need you to kill the source of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, bro. So the whole thing was weird.
I don't know. So they do.
I don't know why Vesemir just did it without Geralt's permission. Like he was like, "Yeah, Geralt would be cool with this."
Bro was so desperate for that fucking
I know,
He
bro.
was so desperate to make more Witchers. I don't know. Could they do it if she was dead? Like if she still had blood there?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Then we, before he does do all that on her, Triss has the flashback scene with her where she gets inside of her head and like there's the whole mom thing. The like dream sequence. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Where
Dude,
she
I thought
like
this
is
was
back at the castle.
yeah, I thought this was so fucking creepy. Where Triss is like in her head and her mom like looks at her and is just like talking to her and like in her mind. I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about.
No, oh, you waiting for not specifically. Not like a
I was
specific
waiting on you
look.
to say something. she
Oh, you're
Trish gets
going.
inside of Siri's mind, and
Yeah.
they go and they talk to Siri's parents. But it's like weird. It's like flashbacks, but it's like all in a tavern, and they're like walking through like Siri's life, and then they get to like Siri's mom and dad, and like they're just like looking at like Triss.
Yeah.
And then Triss like gets out of Siri's head and she's like, "What the fuck is going on? Like you're gonna end all of the world and the universe."
Yeah, like she wasn't. I don't think. Yeah, because Siri wasn't supposed to be able to interact
Mm-hmm.
with the other things. I don't think. Yeah. Okay. I was thinking of a different thing.
I think you were
Yeah,
thinking of
that
the
was.
end where she
Yeah.
like is with the dancing scene and she's
Yeah.
like with yeah.
No. Yeah. No, I remember that scene now when she's like walking through and then she like says hello or something,
Yeah.
or like they look. Somebody notices somebody and it's not supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm. But then we get to Yin and Yaskir. They're trying to get on the ship to get to Sintra. That's what it's called, not Sikra or whatever I tried to say earlier. They're trying to get to Sintra, and Yaskir gets on the boat, right? And then the dude like talks some mad shit about his song. So he like turns around.
That was so funny, bro.
But like couldn't let it go. I just love it because I was like, it's stupid, but it's literally exactly how I feel he would react.
Yeah. Also, while we're on Yaskier, dude, I don't know why we skipped this. I don't know why you allowed your notes to not include this, but that the thirst trap that they pulled with this man when he went to go clean his shirt in the river with
That's
Geralt,
with The
bro.
Witcher. That hasn't happened yet. That's with Geralt.
They haven't. Cut that out
Yeah,
of the
I
video.
would never miss that, Tanner. Damn, you know better.
I thought that already happened.
No, this is with The
I thought
Witcher,
you.
and they
Okay.
throw the axe on his shirt.
You're so right. I don't know why
Yeah.
I'm just getting ahead of myself. I got excited thinking about
Yeah.
it.
Anyway, Yin pretends to be his wife, and they all manage to get on the ship.
Mm.
And then Yaskir's like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna have to turn around and go create beef with this guy." And then he ends up getting captured. Or no, he doesn't try and create beef. They get on the ship because that one Elva dude gets his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Which I was like, thank God, because I was like, I don't fuck with that guy. Like he left that other dude to die.
Yeah.
And then Yaskir goes back, and this is where he gets captured by the Chaos Mage, the Fire Mage.
Dude, that guy.
That guy's an asshole. Who the
It's
fuck
like so
is that
perfect.
guy?
He's so cheesy, and I love it, bro. Also, this guy can just use firepower. Yeah, there's just some fucking whatever.
He's like really. He's supposed to be really good. Clearly, he's very good because using fire is like extremely dangerous. Like you can set yourself on fire, and it's like not good. Geralt's with the mage that Yennefer knows, and he finds out that Yen is still alive. Which I mean, whatever. I don't know. Did you like him finding out Henry Cavill acts his ass off? But I was like, I kind of found it weird that they just met at this one spot, or they didn't just meet at this one spot. Triss teleported him to get to more information about the monolith, which I actually did like that scene because I thought it was kind of funny how the mage was like on guard about like he was like, "Who the fuck are you? What are you doing here?"
Geralt like sat down because he was like a headache.
Yeah, what is this weird like? Geralt has like a queasiness quirk when he goes through portals.
I hate. They always do that to like the big tough guys, bro. Like give them like this like goofy little.
Like what? I thought it worked so well though because he was like, "Give me a second, I need to sit down."
Yeah, he was so
to
unbothered. He was just like.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the other dude's like freaking the fuck out. Anyway, they go to the monolith. They're there. He finds out Yen is still alive, and that's when he decides to head back. And then
I don't like that he heard that Yennefer was alive instead of them just meeting. I thought it'd been there was no reason for him to know that she's alive.
Since she was trying to go and get Ciri anyway.
Yeah, like I feel like it would have been cool to see them meet without him knowing at all. Like I feel like they they blow that satisfying moment. It
Yeah,
was
but I
already.
think. Oh, you know what? It wouldn't. They should have just let him meet her at that little temple the temple of Melite Tele or
Yeah,
whatever. They should
that'd
have
have been
just
like
let them
really
meet there
cool.
because he leaves anyway because he's taking her to there for the monolith stuff anyway.
Mhm.
So it would have been interesting if she just showed up and he was like, "Holy shit!" But I did like the scene where he found out. I did think that I don't know. I can see why you would feel that way, but I also did like the dude because they both loved her. Like they were
Yeah, yeah, I
cute with
like
her.
that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I was like a big fan of like the dude who like was with her, telling her, "Hey, I did like that." Um,
yeah,
then we Geralt goes back to the Witcher, not Haven, the Witcher, whatever, the
yeah.
Witcher,
Alcor,
the Witcher vault.
Calhorn. Yeah,
Yeah, the Witcher vault or wherever it is. And then that's when he stops the like Ciri from getting the Witcher serum. How'd you feel about
yeah.
that?
When did he walk in while it was happening? Is that what
Yeah, it
happened?
was literally like 2 seconds from happening, and he was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
And it was just bound to happen. Like,
I was like, okay. I was like, I was like, I never thought for what. Did you ever think for once that Ciri was going to become a Witcher?
no, I was like, something's like something bad is gonna happen here. Like, I
Yeah,
don't like this.
I thought if they gave it to her, she would instantly fucking die. Like I
Yeah,
was
you
like,
think so?
I don't think she's not to say she's like bad or anything. I like her character, but I was like, I don't think she's Witcher material.
Yeah, like I didn't think it was she. I don't. First of all, I don't think her like destiny is to become a Witcher. Like, I don't think that's
Really.
what is gonna be like.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not what she
She
needs. Like,
becomes
she
such a
think.
fucking badass mage, like later on.
Yeah,
Like she's king shit
yeah.
in the books and in the games, I think, or at least
Well, yeah. I say that she's not like Witcher material, but maybe that is her whole like killing monsters. Just I feel like she would like to kill things to save people. Like, I feel like Witcher would be perfect for her, but maybe not. I don't know.
Well, I kind of like her being like, I don't want to say side character, but I think her and Geralt's powers would complement each other well if she was like fully formed.
You think so?
Yeah,
I
like
feel like, yeah, they're the perfect like
Mhm.
duo.
Because I think in next season she's gonna be a fucking like, badass because she's gonna be training,
Yeah,
and
you're right.
she's also gonna be learning her magic through Triss. So I'm really excited to see where they're going with her. But I never once thought like, and if they did give her the Witcher thing, I think she would fucking die instantly just because like I don't know. I think her fate is sealed in other things. Um, then on the way to the temple, a monster kills probably one of my favorite characters, and it's for seemingly no reason. Um, they kill Roach, the horse.
Why the dude? That pissed me off so bad. First of all, I know he's like a staple in the books and the video games,
Yeah.
and they give him such like a stupid,
Well,
unlike.
it's like Henry Cavill's like talking to him the entire first season. Like they're friends. Like him and the
Yeah.
horse are like a thing. And apparently in the books he loses him and the horse comes back all the time. Or like it's another roach, like he creates another roach or whatever.
Okay.
But I hated it, bro. I was like, oh man, this fucking sucks, dude.
First of all, I don't like how they killed him, and then they had a scene in between, and then you find out that he's actually dead. Like, you didn't know if he was dead or not, and then it's like it cuts to Geralt like over him dead. Like, you didn't like watch the horse die. Like, you saw the horse got hit, and then later on you saw it dead. Like, you didn't watch it die. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
It would have been kind of cool if they did it like super violently, like shook the motherfucker or something. You know what I'm saying? Like he picks up the horse and shakes.
Yeah. And also, I feel like they should have kept up that relationship from the first. Like, I feel like we should have seen him like talking to the like horse more. Like, he didn't talk to that horse one bit before that happened.
I think. Well, he did on the way to the monolith, but I think that's pretty much it because he wasn't really traveling this season. Like this season, he was in one place, so his horse is like mute.
You're right.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know.
I feel like it was really cheap. Like, I don't know. I feel like it wasn't needed. Like that scene would have been exactly the same if Roach didn't die. It would have been better.
He did add that prayer though. That prayer that he says after his horse dies. That's from
That
the
is
book.
cool.
And Henry Cavill just like knew that.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's perfect for this role, man. I genuinely believe he's the like you couldn't have casted anyone better.
Dude, and he's so you can tell like
He
you
cares
can
so
tell
much.
he's like so into it. Like
Well, because it's like his shit. Like he like plays D&D and Warhammer and like
Yes,
He
just
gets
fucking
to go
weird,
to work
bro.
dressed up like a fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
wearing leather armor and shit every day. I don't know. I love it.
And
I
you have to
love it.
fucking practice with his swords and shit, bro. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then let's see here. Yeah, so then they get to the temple. Yennefer saves. This already happened basically, but Yennefer saves. What's dickhead Yaskir's name or Yaskirin by spitting the fire in the dude's face, the alcohol.
That was cool. I
Yeah,
like
that was
that.
cool. I did like that as well. And then she escapes the guards by saying, "Oh, like or by the like talking to the witch again," and the witch reports her to go and tells her to go and get Ciri. And then she'll get her powers back or whatever. So she's on her way to go and see Ciri. They meet in the place. I thought, how did you feel about them re-meeting?
Yeah, whatever. Yennefer and
Geralt, yeah.
I thought it was gonna be way cooler for me. I don't like. They just like. She just walked into his room and he turned and saw her, and then they like. I felt like him and Jaskier's like re-meeting was more
we'll
like heartfelt and more emotional than theirs, which shouldn't be the case.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was. I don't know how to explain this. I thought it was. I didn't think it was bad, but I didn't think it was phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was like right there in the good, okay to good range. Like I was like, okay, and like there, I did still feel like I wouldn't say I didn't feel any chemistry like when they were back, and I feel like you can really tell through Henry like he, or at least Geralt feels like he really wants that connection again, and she does too, but she's like weird about it now because she follows behind Ciri. And she's like, oh, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was okay. After that, we get to Francesca. Her baby is born, which, I mean, whatever. The Elven storyline was kind of like, I don't know. The Nilfgaard Elven storyline, how did you feel about it?
I felt like there wasn't enough information flowing during the show for me to even understand what was happening.
Yeah, like I knew she wanted power. I knew she wanted a kid, and then like I knew it was a big deal. Like what happens to the kid? Like I knew it was all a big deal, but I was just like, I don't feel like I'm comprehending what's going on. And then.
And it's so political. Like every time they have a scene, like after like I could follow when they were like in the woods and they were like meeting up and like there was a witch and everything. But once it became like they're like in a kingdom talking about shit,
it's dense.
Yeah,
it's dense as fuck. Like you have to it's like you have to sit down and watch it. But then we get to so then the dudes attack Nilfgaard and Yen gets Ciri to open up a portal for her, which I actually thought was a pretty good scene where she's like, you can do this. She's teaching her.
Yeah.
And then there's that it's one of the, and this is one of my problems with this season. The action in this season isn't nearly as cool, in my opinion, because a lot of times I can't tell if it's a COVID restraint, but in this season, Geralt fights a lot more CGI monsters rather than like people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I can't tell if it's a COVID thing or if it's like that's just how the book played out. I don't think it's bad, but I do think it's less good than the first season. However, this one fight in the church is one of the ones that is a people fight, and I think it's fucking awesome.
Dude, yeah. When we were talking about the Kingsman the other day, we were talking about fight scenes, and then for some reason I thought that there's something that happens in the fight scene in The Witcher, and I thought that it happened in Kingsman, and I wanted to say it, and I got so upset because I was like, damn, that was like definitely one of my favorite fight scene moments in The Witcher happens in that like whole like church fighting scene.
He's a fucking badass, man. Like every time he gets to fight people, it's so satisfying because he just like when he's like chopping through their heads and shit, and like that one part where he like stabs it through the dude's dude, he's just so fucking cool.
Dude, yeah, my favorite part was when the dude was fell on top of him, and then he force pushed him up, slid out of the way, and then let him fall on the sword. That was the sickest shot. That was so sick.
So fucking cool. I love it. My favorite part about like badass characters is, and the MCU doesn't really do this, or doesn't really. It does have some characters that I feel like this, but it doesn't really have as many characters. Like when it's 7 guys in a room versus Captain America, I never feel bad for Captain America. I feel bad for the people he's about to beat the shit out of. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like that to me is like the hallmark of like, oh, this is a fucking badass character. Like every time Geralt's in a room with like under 10 people, I always feel bad for them because like I'm never convinced.
It's not gonna
I know that there's no way they're going to come out on top, and the way that they're going to go out is immensely gruesome and like not going to be pretty. It's going to be a bad death essentially.
Yeah, you're never worried about what they're gonna do to Geralt. You're like, what is Geralt gonna do to these men now? Like, what's some new creative thing that he's not fucking?
Yeah, I think I this is the best fight season or best fight scene of the season for me. And it's because of like the people. Like I like it when he fights people, sometimes more than I like it when he fights monsters. Just because we have a frame of reference for what it's like, to experience pain, and so when he is killing people, if it's not in a like, unless the monster's like the monster death is like super fucking satisfying and they do something really cool, I always find it more engaging and more like, holy shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, now that you say that, that makes it. Yeah, what he's doing, like
Yeah, you don't know what they're feeling clearly because I've never had a sword put through my head, but you do know what it's like to nick your tongue on your like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're like, oh, like I can kind of feel what that's gonna be like.
Yeah, it's also like when Geralt's fighting a monster, you can never tell how strong like Geralt is. Like, like he's just like he's fighting a monster, but like when he's fighting the people, you can tell like just how good of a fighter he actually is. Like in terms of
I
don't know. Got weird there.
Then Ciri and Yennefer, they get to she basically captures her, and then Yennefer is taking her to the the monolith, the place to open up the portal for the Death Lady. And as they're going, Yennefer's clearly starting to form a bond with Ciri and kind of understand what Ciri means to Geralt. And you can kind of tell that she's going to change her mind. This is when Geralt gets desperate, basically. He's going to go and find Yennefer. And he discovers that he probably is going to need some help to do so. So this is when he goes and gets Jaskier. How did you feel about them, like their scene, they're getting, back together scene, essentially?
I mean, did you rephrase the whole thing again?
Geralt realizes he needs help to go and get Yennefer and Ciri. So he goes and gets Jaskier from the prison, because Jaskier's in prison.
Favorite scene. One of the favorite moments from the whole show. Yeah.
Really? I love
Jaskier in his jail cell. It's so funny, dude, with the mice, bro.
And he's singing to the guard, and the guard's like, "Please shut the fuck up."
Yes.
I think when he walks in, and Jaskier goes, "Oh, fuck it," and then just hugs him. Like there's no other conversation other than like, oh, because like they're, I just love how it's not necessarily they're upset with each other. He's just like, they're just friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh, we had a fight. We're kind of cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel like that was more like I missed you. Like,
yeah.
Like, yeah, you fucked me over. But like, I think they both realized how much they missed each other after.
Yeah. And I like that Geralt says it. He's like, I did miss you.
Yeah.
It's nice. I think it's great. And I do think it's one of the best moments of the series. After this is when the thirst trap happens that you mentioned earlier. Which, holy fuck, why is Jaskier shredded as fuck? Like, I feel like
he should be the next Witcher, bro. What the fuck was that, bro?
I feel like he'd been working out in between seasons, and they were like, you know what? We're gonna show it off for you. Like, they're like,
dude, I feel like somebody just noticed, like on set, or like the costumer was like, dude, this guy, like, this has to be on screen, bro. Like, there's no other reason. Like, I feel like they didn't like tell him to get ready for that. Or, like,
yeah,
I feel like he was already there.
I was taken aback. I was like, why is he fucking cut? I was like, this doesn't make any sense for his character to be cut. But I was like, I mean, I guess it does. I don't know. I was like, wow, okay.
I wish they would do something more with him. I wish Geralt would like teach him more, and he could become more of like a like a fighter character in the series, because that would be kind of cool to see his little like
kind of like Podrick or Podrick in Game of Thrones, how he like trains with Brienne.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he goes from like a little wimp to like being able to actually hold his ground. So then, I don't remember that. Oh yeah. So then, Yin and them are getting closer to the monolith when the Nilfgaardian soldiers start attacking. And this is when Geralt, Jaskier, and them show up and basically save Yen and Ciri from the Nilfgaardian soldiers. And then I think one of the best scenes in the entire season happens when, because Geralt knows like what Yen's trying to do, and he walks up to her and he's like, "How could you do this? Like, she's mine." And he's like says mine, and like you could tell it's like breaking him that like Yin would even think about doing something like this to him. And he's like the way he says mine, bro.
Dude, no. See, I really like that too. And then Molly really liked it, but then Molly pointed out something cool like I wasn't even like really thinking about until she like said it. But like especially when Geralt says that whole mine thing, like I feel like that's also a crack at her like she's my daughter, like not your daughter. Like
yeah.
This isn't your substitute for your daughter. Like you don't
for like the kid she couldn't have?
Yeah. Like I feel like
shit, bro.
So it's kind of like mine, like
yeah. Oh, dude. I'm telling you what, when he says this shit, it like cut me like a knife. I was like, oh my God. I was like, get this man an Emmy, bro, because the way he delivers that line, he just says like so many things with one word.
Dude, yeah, you're right. He's a good actor.
He's fucking
when he has good writing and like his character's so perfect for him. Like
yeah. You can tell he pours his heart into it when he fucking says that shit, bro. You can tell it's killing him like on every level. He's like, can't believe you fucking did this. So anyway, then they go to the witch, the big witch, and then she kind of gets released into the wilderness, and
she escapes.
She's kind of going towards Ciri, is what it looks like, through the weird like firefly things. I'm gonna be honest, this whole witch storyline, I was really confused.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes they need more episodes in this series to explain everything, but also like
not more episodes, just tell us like again. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't tell us anything again.
You're right. They kind of like lay it all on the line like in one part, and you have to remember everything as it goes.
It's like we're watching an 8-hour movie, and something they introduce in hour 2 becomes pivotal in hour 8. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like I don't know.
Dude, oh my God! I just realized that it kind of sometimes feels like you're watching like video game cutscenes, but you're not watching the gameplay.
So like the character interactions between the like gameplay.
Yes. So it's like I feel like we're missing a bunch, but that's just because we're not like playing. Like we're just like it's weird. Like I don't know. It's weird how much it actually reminds me of a video game a lot. Like the way that the story goes and is set up.
It does really lend itself. Like I feel like the book, making a game out of it was a really good idea because I feel like the book does the story does lend itself to being a video game.
Yeah.
Like side quests are very like,
and the lore, like there's like all the lore they could just go into. Like you just make stories forever. So.
Yeah, I feel that. So then the witch gets possession of Ciri's body, entraps her, and then she's in that whole scene with her head with her grandmother and whatever. You know what I noticed in this scene, and then once I noticed it, I couldn't stop noticing it.
What?
Do you remember Ciri's like grandfather dude in season 1?
Who like teaches her magic and stuff, or like
not that guy. The other dude who wasn't the one that knew the magic, but he was like the husband of Callanth, her grandmother.
No man, I really don't.
Okay, well there's that guy, and he's in episode 8, but the entire time he's in the episode, he's doing this. They couldn't get the actor back to be in this one scene for this season, so it's just some other stand-in. But the entire time they cut, he's in a different position, facing away from the camera.
That is so funny, bro.
And I couldn't stop noticing it once I noticed it, and it like ruined me out of the scene every time. Because he's like in this flashback scene, all I'm doing is like looking up and like looking at this dude who's just conveniently turned away from the camera. I don't know. I thought it was so funny. But then we get our classic, everyone's dying around them, and Geralt's like, "Oh, come back and please, like I know you're there." How did you feel about this?
Yeah. You took like wait, so like when was this? He was trying to wake her up from this dream, right, or something.
Yeah, he was trying to wake her up. Remember, the witch had entrapped her in her own mind, and the witch was like in control of her body, and she was like killing. She was killing all the other witchers in their sleep, and she tried to kill Vesemir. But then
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Yeah, she was killing her.
Yeah, but then we get to the scene. I basically skipped all that because I was like, we didn't really know those witchers, and I mean, was it of any significance to you besides the fact that Ciri was killing people?
Yeah, I didn't like that she was. Yeah, she was killing her. Also, I was confused by that for a second. Then I was like, oh my, yeah, she's possessed.
She's possessed.
Like, yeah.
And then that's what I'm saying. Then we get to our classic, like she's summoning. Apparently, there's a monolith inside the Witcher tree, and like the demons come out, and they're all fighting.
That was cool. I did not expect that.
Yeah,
the tree cracked open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which sucks too because I really like that tree. But then Geralt's like, I know you're there, and Ciri has to basically choose between her new family and the one she kind of never really knew.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
No, yeah, just like that class. I honestly hate that when they do that in movies, when they're like trying to break that out of the dream sequence with love or whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of like.
It's pretty cliche. But I mean, if that's what happens in the books, like, I can't fault them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, okay.
That's true. They can't change that.
So I was like, okay, well, I was like, okay, it's not nearly as interesting as Yennefer burning an entire army of Nilfgaardians, but I was like, okay, I get it. It's between the characters and Geralt and like Ciri's kind of accepting her role as his daughter. Then Yennefer leaves. Before that, they get sent into this portal. I think it's called the Wild Hunt, which is the name of the third game. So I guess we're getting to like the third game territory, which is like everybody's favorite game of all time. And Yennefer just gets her powers back.
That was weird. I
thought it was weird. She accepts the witch leaves Ciri and then goes into her and then goes into a portal and then goes out of Yennefer. But when that happens, Yennefer gets her powers. Because I guess like the witch's healing abilities kind of healed Yennefer's powers.
Yeah, it's just weird because I feel like Yennefer got what she wanted in the end, and I feel like that wasn't what her character was supposed to be.
Yeah. I just felt like I don't know. It felt too like this is something we'd been building up to for 8 episodes, and it just felt really quick.
Yeah.
Like
we didn't even see it happen. She just talked about it happening.
Yeah, and then she like healed one of the witchers. She was like, "Oh, I'm healed now," and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I was like, all right. Like, it's not like you were worried about that the whole season.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was fine. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good.
I thought it was just bad. I thought that was bad.
You thought that was bad, really?
I think they spent the whole second season of her character arc like trying to like either get this magic back or learn how to live without the magic. And I feel like she didn't learn any valuable lesson not having the magic. Like I feel like she didn't have enough time. Like she got the like I feel like if she learned a lesson and then got the magic back and then like used the magic differently from then on, it would have been cool. But it's like her character didn't change as a result of her losing her magic, and then she got her magic back. Like, what else did she do in that season besides?
Oh, you wish there would have been kind of there might have been a couple of things she learned, but I do kind of see what you would say. Like you wish she had learned a little bit more through like not having that ability. Like maybe her dependency on others changed her whole like independency thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Okay, I can see that. I just felt like we knew she was going to get her powers back anyways, so how it happens doesn't really, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, I think it's just okay. Like, it was just all right. So then we find out, Ciri is the prophesized. Basically, she's the chosen one. And the elves need her in a sense. Yeah. I don't see it anywhere in this breakdown, but I do want to talk about this scene with Fringilla and Cahir where she like freezes everybody and then kills them all.
That is so dope. And
the dude, she like the alchemy shit, bro. This shit where they can't help themselves and she's just stabbing them in the neck.
I was cringing so hard. Bro.
It was so awesome.
God, it was so hard to watch. Bro.
Imagine being, dude. All I can think is like, imagine being fucking Cahir in that like. It like just watching all your friends die. I hate that they don't like collapse after they die. Like they just die and they're just like standing there like they're
yes.
It's awful. awful, but she does.
I like that that's definitely the best moment for her character. Like you finally get like a sense of like, okay. Like I feel like she was doing nothing the whole time. Like was she a good guy? Was she a bad guy?
Yeah.
And now I'm like,
she's like,
okay,
I'm not fucking around. Like I am.
Yeah, now I know who she is.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like scared of her now. Like that was cool.
Mm-hmm. Like she didn't fuck around. But then after that happened sometime in the past, but I couldn't not talk about it. And then Kid kind of becomes whipped and like listens to her all the time. Like he doesn't have an option because she will literally fucking kill him. And then the reveal at the end of the season is that Emperor Emir, Ciri's dad, is still alive.
That was crazy. That was weird. Yeah.
You thought I thought it was kind of predictable, but I was still like, what are they gonna do? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't predict it at all. I don't know why they're doing it, but
I think it's in the book. It's in the book. Yeah. I mean, everything. This show is basically, it's like Harry Potter. It's like almost an exact replica of what's going on in the books.
That's cool.
But I am excited to see that because that's going to be interesting to see like her surrogate mother and her actual father kind of face off and to see which one she chooses between the both of them. And it looks like her father's going to be evil.
Yeah, that'll definitely be like a good thing for Ciri's character next season to deal with.
Yeah. Well, that's it for season 2, Tanner. What if you said you had to say you had a favorite part? What do you think it would be?
Of season 2?
Yeah.
My favorite part about season 2, nothing like specific in like a scene or anything. My favorite part about season 2 as a whole is that like I like that they stayed in one spot like a lot of the whole time. It made the like story a lot easier to follow, and I felt like since they were stuck, it felt like characters were interacting for like
longer,
like they just like longer and more, and like it felt like they weren't always like there was like dude, I can't get my freaking words out, but I felt like they're just like anything. Like this is what sequels are like.
Moments, yeah.
That's what sequels are for, and I felt like that's what the best part about this was, is that they were like, okay, now that we had this whole cool like badass like action-packed season, like now we can like
slow down and
explore the characters more.
Yeah, I feel that. I think my favorite part would have to be the scene in the temple where he fucking murders those dudes. The scene with him and Yennefer where he's like, where he says mine. Like I just thought he acted the shit out of that scene. Like I genuinely think that was like Emmy-worthy performance. Because I don't know. You could just tell that he just fucking broke him. Like I don't know. And even though it is kind of cheesy, I was just like, I don't know, it killed it for me. What do you think is next for season 3? See, it's hard to speculate besides what we already did with like her dad and stuff, because I don't think either of us have read the books.
Yeah.
So it's like there's clearly a way they're going to go. I don't think either of you know, you or I know, but if you had to take a gander, what do you think you would say? Her dad showdown, of course. What do you think's happening with Yennefer?
I think it's exactly what you said. It's going to be kind of like Ciri's like I feel like Ciri's going to have to make a choice here.
Pulled between two.
And yeah, but I feel like every other character has gotten like at least their season arc like wrapped up.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what Geralt does without like all the Witchers. Like I feel like I want to see what happens to like Vesemir and all that.
You're right. So many of them died.
Yeah.
And maybe it's like a Yennefer kind of like Yennefer and Geralt get back in a relationship or something, and that's like separating like his time with Ciri, and she feels like he can't trust her or whatever. Or like Ciri's like you're not training me anymore. You're just focused about your relationship. And then maybe her dad starts training him, but she kind of figures out her dad's semi-evil, and then she has to like choose between the two of them at the end.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
I don't know, but I was like,
it's hard to speculate. Yeah, with this like fantasy show, like shit could happen at any moment.
Yeah, but it's also like I'm sure we're completely wrong, and there's a whole book about it. The 3 people that watch will be like, actually, in the comments.
There could be fucking dislikes on your video, Dylan. Jesus, they're horrible.
I like most of the video, but then you got to the end and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Okay, but what did you think about this trailer for this prequel series that's apparently set like thousands of years in the future, and it's like the beginning of the Witchers? Like,
I think it's cool. I like when shows have spin-offs. I don't think they're ever as good, and I don't think it will be as good as The Witcher. But
Yeah,
I think it's fun to have stuff to watch while you're not watching the thing
I
that you like
agree,
to
and I like that it's coming out so soon. It's going to be here in like May, I think. So we don't have to wait fucking 2 years for the next season.
Yeah.
And she's also played by Michelle Yeoh or Yao, Michelle Yao, who is Shang-Chi's aunt.
Really?
So yeah, I'm really excited for that because she's a badass. Um,
I don't like when they do stuff in the past because then they might end up like having to retcon shit later and stuff like that. But I
well,
think it's like
it
really
is like
stuff.
thousands of years in the past.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I feel like
maybe
it's gonna have nothing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So maybe it'll be all right. But yeah, but you liked it. You liked season 2 of The Witcher, Tanner?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it more than I thought it would.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't think it's as good as season 1. Just because, like I said, the only problem with season 1 is like how confusing it is for me.
Yeah. Everything
Um,
else is really perfect.
and I think this, like I said, I think the action's lessened, but I do think the streamlined narrative is better. I like the
Yeah,
narrative better.
you're
Um,
right.
but yeah, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Whoever does Henry Cavill's wig is really good because it almost doesn't look like a wig all the time.
Yeah, that's true. In season 1, it kind of did. I think the costume and makeup looks so much better in this season, though.
Yeah, the atmosphere that goes into this, like the props and the costumes and like
The world, they create the
the
world.
world.
You really feel like the world exists.
That's what makes like these shows like so fun to watch. Like
Yeah.
honestly, I feel like that's half the reason I watch it. It's just for the aesthetic of it.
Like, bro, I can't wait for that Lord of the Rings Amazon show.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
you're
that's gonna
right.
be
They're
so
getting you.
fucking good. I feel like, or maybe it'll be trash, but it's like the most expensive show ever made.
Yeah.
So I'm like really excited to see it. But if you don't have anything else to like to add, where can people reach out and find you on social media?
Just my name, Tanner Pieper on Instagram. I'll be there.
Okay.
Pretty much up for that.
And that will conclude our show. If you enjoyed this, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It really does help us out. And add me on Instagram at Dylan Reviews. We're all appreciative of you listening, and we hope to have you back in a couple of days when we talk about The King's Man. Like I said, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Ka-chow.